Hi, everyone, and a happy new year. So, this time of the year is when everyone is so amped up about goal setting and, getting it all done and achieving all those goals and living that dream life. But I'm here to let you know that if you do not have that foundation of good sleep, it's really going to be hard for you to achieve whatever the goals are that you set for yourself. Because if you are sleep deprived, and if you're trying to achieve those goals from a place of sleep deprivation, the likelihood that you'll have the motivation to see it through to the end is actually lower compared to if you approach your goals from a place of rest, from a place where sleep is prioritized, right? From a place of sufficient sleep. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode. We're going to be talking about how to achieve your goals using sleep as a tool and how to set healthy sleep goals for the new year. Listen, if you're here and you're new, I'm Dr. Funke Afolabi Brown. I'm the founder of Restful Sleep MD and the Restful Sleep Place. And really, our mission is to help people change their relationship with sleep so that you could thrive and reach your fullest potential. If you have not subscribed, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because when you do, you help get that message out there. You become literally my sleep evangelist to get the word out so that as many people as possible can watch this video to change their lives. Now, there are five things I want you to consider when it comes to setting sleep goals to achieve your ultimate goals, right? We want to have a healthy start to the new year because that's going to help us keep that momentum going to be everything we've been called to be. So, now what are these five things I want you to consider? The first is consistency. Have a consistent sleep schedule. What does that mean? That means that you have a set wake up time, more importantly, actually, and a set bedtime. Why is that important? Because we all have this internal clock. It's called the circadian rhythm, and it's actually controlled by a structure in our brain in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. Now, this controls so many functions in our bodies, metabolism, and so many other functions, but it also controls when we're awake and when we're asleep. Now, when you have a schedule that is very sort of rigid, pretty much, and it's really well set, it helps anchor that circadian rhythm. So you're not drifting all over the place. So having a set and a consistent sleep and wake time is a big game changer in terms of helping to align your circadian rhythm, helping to help you feel better, and helping you to get the restful sleep you need. Now, I would dare say, even on the weekends, you want to try to keep that schedule as consistent as possible. Now, how do you figure out when is a good time for you to go to bed? When is a good time for you to wake up in the morning? What I usually will recommend is find a time when you don't have to wake up to an alarm clock and see when you naturally would wake up after going to bed at a reasonable time, right? When are you most likely to fall asleep? When are you most likely to wake up? Now, that wake up time may now have to be something you may need to modify depending on how soon you need to go to work or things like that, or attend to the kids. And essentially, you just count backwards. So if you're someone who needs 7 to 9 hours, so 8 hours of sleep, okay, and you have to wake up by 6 a.m., the absolute latest, then that means that you need to be in bed by 10 p.m. and just make that as rigid as possible. Consider that to be your appointment with sleep, like your multidisciplinary care, okay? So that consistent sleep schedule is number one. It is so pivotal. It's so important. Number two are your bedtime routines. So I want you to develop a bedtime routine that helps you wind down and get ready for bed, right? Most times we have a routine for our kids. We have their bath, we, take care of, reading to them and some time with singing and doing all that. It turns out that even as we as adults also need that bedtime routine, because what that helps us do is it helps actually cue that circadian rhythm to say yes, it's time to go to bed. So that should be two or three activities, I usually will say, that head in the direction of the bedroom. Now, I would say group them into three main categories. One is your body, something that helps you wind down, your mind, as well as your spirit. So body, what can you do to nourish your body in terms of a bedtime routine? Have a bath, right? A warm shower or a soak. You may want to do some stretching or some massage. You may want to have a snack, right? Something light, but that will sustain you through the night. So that will help with targeting elements that will target your body. Now, for your soul, really find what nourishes you and fills your cup. Now, this may look like journaling, it may look like listening to a podcast or some calming music. It may be like talking to a spouse, for instance, and winding down with the kids. That's actually something that fills your soul up. And then the third is your spirit, right? Find what really then sustains you and what grounds you. For me, it's my faith. And so prayer can be part of your bedtime routine, meditation, reading, the scriptures, spending time in gratitude. All those things will nourish your spirit and help your body get ready for bed. Number three is have a digital detox plan. What does that mean? It doesn't mean you're addicted. Hopefully, you're not, right? But it's a way of actually winding down where technology is concerned. Now, what are the elements of a digital detox? The first is set a digital curfew. What's the absolute last time that you should be on screens, right? And when I say screens, it's not just your phone, it's your iPad, the laptop, the TV, video games, all of that. So usually I would say about 30 to 60 minutes before bed is when you should be done with devices. So set that, forget it, right? Set a reminder to say it's time for bed, wind down, it will change your life, right? So that will let you know it's time to put the phone down and then flip over to your bedtime routine. The other thing is you can use a do not disturb sign. You could put up those so that will make sure you don't get those notifications that's going to keep you up. Now, if you're someone who's on call, or you're someone who has maybe aged parents or family that you absolutely need to hear from them, you can actually set up a VIP list. Most of our smartphones have that feature so that you don't miss those important calls. But for the others, right, that notification from WhatsApp or from Snapchat or whatever it is, please just, you'll see them in the morning, right? And then the third part of that digital detox really is making sure that you have a place that you can charge your phone. Now, if you're someone that struggles with, maybe you wake up in the middle of the night and you find yourself picking up your phone and it's really hard for you to put it down, then I recommend not charging your phone close to your bed. Charge it at the opposite side of the room, or better still, outside of the bedroom. So that way you're not tempted to, check your phone to see what time it is and find yourself responding to an email, or check your phone to see what time it is and find yourself on social media at 3 a.m., right? So that's a good way to. So have a place where you're going to charge at a central location where the whole family can have their devices charged, actually. And then the final part of that digital detox plan, I would say, is think about ways that you can replace that no screen time with calming activities. Like I talked about your routine. So you can pick a book, a hard copy book, right? Wait, that you can read or things like that. So, or, a novel or some coloring, whatever that is, to help replace that gap so that you don't feel like, you have FOMO or something and you don't feel like you're missing out on something that's really, really fun. So, number four would be mindful eating. So, how we eat, when we eat, actually affects our bodies a lot and can affect our sleep and our circadian rhythm. You definitely want to make sure that you're very consistent with your meal times, because it turns out that in addition to light, in addition to exercise, in addition to some social cues, food is one of the things that helps anchor and cue our circadian rhythm. So that's something you don't want to skip meals. You want to have breakfast at the right time. Now, the important thing I would say you should consider when it comes to that is the timing of your meal. So what time are you going? What time are you eating dinner, especially? You want to avoid any heavy meals about 2 or 3 hours before bedtime, because you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to be tossing and turning, especially since you're laying down flat. You might have reflux, and that's going to worsen your sleep. So the timing is one thing. Also, the content of what you're eating is important. You want to avoid, very sugary foods. You want to maybe lean towards more complex carbohydrates, some grains, oats, things like that. You may want to consider what we call tryptophan rich foods. Now, what is tryptophan? Tryptophan is a substance that is used in the process of creating melatonin in our brains. So you want to eat foods that may potentially promote the production of tryptophan. So turkey, milk, green leafy vegetables, fish, things like that are very rich in tryptophan. And that might be something you might consider having as part of your diet. And even like nuts, if you want to take a snack, having some nuts or some cheese. Those are all very beneficial. Again, nothing too heavy. And then finally, when it comes to the mindful eating, you want to pay attention to things like stimulants and hydration. So, stimulants like caffeine, sodas, coffee, tea, chocolates, actually, sometimes can potentially be so stimulating that it keeps you alert and makes it hard for you to fall asleep. Now, the reason why is if you think about something like caffeine, it has a very long half life. So, a lot of it is still in our bodies at bedtime if we have it with dinner. So you want to avoid caffeine several hours before bed, right? Such that it's not something that's going to disrupt your sleep. Now, when it comes to hydration, absolutely you should be hydrated because you do actually sustain a little bit of dehydration over sleep when you're sleeping. But you want to make sure you're not taking the bulk of your fluid intake for the day at night in the evening because then you're going to have to get up frequently for bathroom breaks. That's going to disrupt your sleep. We do not want that. So stay hydrated during the day. Avoid taking too many fluids in the evening, right? Sips of water is okay. And that way you keep that balance right when it comes to your mindful eating. Now, number five, which again, this is not an exhaustive list, but I think this is a good place to start, and that is exercise. Now, exercise is so helpful when it comes to our sleep. It increases our mood, it helps our mood, it improves our deep sleep, it helps us reduce anxiety and stress, all of which will help you to sleep better. Now when it comes to exercise, usually I will recommend combining both cardiovascular exercises with strength training. So you may want to do some jogging, a brisk walk, some stretching, some cycling, things like that, with weightlifting, for instance. And what we recommend is usually about 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise weekly. So you try to be as consistent with that as possible. I'm sure you might have set health goals which included exercise. Maybe they didn't include sleep, but now you're here, so you know, right? Now, the thing about exercise is that if you don't sleep well, the motivation to exercise and the ability to recover from the exercise and to really have your body repair itself is less. So, sleep is really foundational to this. And then the other piece I would say with exercise is the timing of the exercise, right? So I would rather you exercise earlier in the day. The reason why is if you exercise very late, like in the evening or just before bed, especially if you have moderate to like super intense exercise, that can actually make it hard for you to wind down. You're going to be hot. We don't want you to be too hot. Your heart rate's going to be up, and it's going to make it a little bit harder for you to fall asleep. That being said, if you've been so busy the entire day and you've not had a moment to exercise, I would rather you do some light exercise, a walk around the block, some yoga, some stretching, something of that sort before bed because of how beneficial it is towards our sleep. So, we've talked about a number of things. We've talked about the consistency. We've talked about having a bedtime routine. We've talked about digital detox. We've talked about mindful eating. And we've talked about your exercise and how it impacts sleep. Now, these are things that you can do. You can actually start tonight, which will give you the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to achieving those goals. Because when you sleep well, you're healthy, right? You're happy and you're much more successful. And the likelihood of constantly hitting those goals you set for yourself for the new year is much higher. And I'm here to cheer you on. Now, listen, if you've done all these things, or you're wondering where to get started, or you have a child who is struggling with their sleep, maybe you're concerned they have a sleep disorder, maybe they're getting the right number of hours of sleep and they are still exhausted, they're falling back when it comes to schoolwork, they're just really having a hard time keeping up, and the whole family is really struggling with this, or even if not the whole family, even if one person is struggling, it is time to see a sleep expert. And at the Restful Sleep Place, we are sleep experts. I'm a board certified sleep specialist, and I prioritize approaching sleep from a holistic and family based lens, such that it's anywhere from snoring, sleep apnea, excessive sleepiness, restless sleep, sleep talking, sleep codependent, whatever it is, insomnia. We manage all those things, but we don't just give you pills. We become detectives with you. We follow and we hold you. We make sure we're right by your side to help you to get to where you want to go. So if you are that person or you know that person who's in need of that extra help, have them call us at the restfulsleepplace.com. The number is 215 215-607-8297. That's 215-607-8297. Or visit our website at therestfulsleepplace.com. We are seeing patients in California, in New Jersey, and in Pennsylvania, and we would love to see you. We would love to see you. We're able to offer virtual visits, which is perfect right from the comfort of your own home or your own bedroom as well. So that's it. I hope this has been helpful. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to forward this or share this with someone in your community. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. That's how we get the word out. It's been such a pleasure, and I hope you have the healthiest, most wholesome new year that is filled with joy and peace and everything you want for your family. Until next time, I hope you rest well.